Hey over there, Joe Lunchbox.
And Joy Nightingale.
And somewhere in the background, over there, yeah, there's Mom. And today we have landed right here in the White Mountain National Forest of New Hampshire. More specifically, we're at the Presidential Mountain Range at the base of Mount Washington at this Marshfield Station. We're going to do something I've always wanted to do today. We're going to get on the Cog Railway and go all the way to the top of Mount Washington. Now, this has some special meanings for the Cog Railway, special meanings for me. This is the Cog Railway's 150 years old. Before the Civil War, there was a man named Sylvester Marsh that said, hey, you know a good idea?
What?
That giant mountain up there? Let's put a railway to the top of it. And people thought this guy was crazy, but he made it happen. And in August 29th, 1866, the first successful railway run up to the mountain made it. But then it was in July 3rd, 1869, it was finally opened to the public, and the Cog Railway is born. Now, it's 150 years old. We're going to do it. Now, like I was saying, this mountain has some special importance to me. When I was just a kid, 17 years old, got my first driver's license, got my first car. 2 weeks later, me and my friends, it was in early May, said, hey,
great idea.
Let's go climb out. So we got in the car. It was me, my friend Gary, and my friend Alex, and we drove up here to New Hampshire. 2 weeks of driving experience. Maybe not the smartest thing, but we made it. We hiked to the top, and we learned Mount Washington isn't an easy hike. We're going to go over some of the Mount Washington facts when we get up top. But just put it this way. Even though, we're Little Mountain in New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah, Little Mountain. Hey.
It's also one of the training mountains for Mount Everest. So, yeah, we were kids. We weren't prepared. A little story, one of the spots we were going, we were walking along a little ridge, and Alex slid, and he was holding onto a branch, hanging off a cliff about 400 feet up. Out of the movies, and me and Garrett had to go pull him up. Could have lost Alex there. This video, most of our videos is a little comical. I'm going to tell some stories of climbing Mount Washington that were very scary, so there's going to be some serious moments to this video. Because Mount Washington's not a joke. But we're waiting for this Cog Railway Station to open. There's a little museum inside. There's going to be a museum on top, and riding the whole Cog Railway up to the top is what I'm excited for. So, step right up. Let's go for this ride. Soon we'll be boarding that train, following this. Look at it. It goes straight up the mountain. Get up 5:30 a.m. Get here for our 9 a.m. train ride. There's two different trains. There's the biodiesel and the old steam engine. We're taking the old school steam engine up top today. Up Mount Washington on the Cog Railway. Never sat on a train that we're at such an angle. Supposedly the seats are angled, so we're sitting right as even though the train's at an angle. We have this cool display with some trains and some gems you can buy. What I think is funny is those train stamps we just bought this week to mail our normal bills and letters out. Oh, Joy. What? Can we take that down from the top of the mountain?
That would actually be fun.
Yeah. Got a little museum. This is what it's going to look like when we get to that top. It's a crazy thing. The highest peak in New Hampshire, one of the highest peak in New England, one of the highest peaks on the eastern seaboard, yet they built this giant restaurant, weather station. There are less than 100 operating steam engines in the U.S. today. The Cog Railway currently has 3 of them. Wow. Like it's showing how the firebox heats the steam, which fires the cylinders and pistons. We actually have a chunk of the old steam locomotive. See, we have Hercules, was the first locomotive with a horizontal bow designed by railway inventor Sylvester Marsh and built actually here in New Hampshire. Image below taken in 1902. The engine had just been delivered to the Mount Washington Cog Railway from Manchester, New Hampshire via railway. And now, you might be wondering, Joy, why is it called the Cog Railway? I'll show you. This train doesn't have wheels. To go up the hill, it actually has cogs that lock you in. Can you imagine, Joy? This is a slide where when they finished work, they would just slide down to get down. The thrill seekers, the average descent of the mountain on a shingle was about 15 minutes. However, thrill seekers would race to see how fast they could ascend the 3 miles of track with speeds reported over 60 miles per hour. And look at this one. He got his little pooch with him. Talking about the buildings up top. There was a summit house that's gone now, but there's the Tip Top House, which still is there. Now is a museum. Cool map showing Appalachian Trail going over different mountains, Mount Adams, Mount Jefferson, Mount Glen, and it comes right up top of Mount Washington and down the other side. I like showing now they have the new biodiesel trains. And the cool thing is, we build everything here. Our crews work year-round to create and build and maintain all customized equipment from trains to tracks. That's cool. Crush Penny.
Don't mind if we do. Oh, it didn't jump out this time.
It didn't, but you want to see the coolest thing? I think this is funny.
What?
Things are a little off here, it seems, on Mount Washington. Like, how do you get those gumballs out? Those are some big gumballs, but things aren't to scale here. Let me show you. That train isn't to scale to the United States. Just so you know, that's not. We're gonna get on the train, we're gonna board it, and then we're gonna follow this track all the way up. I don't know if you can see past the sun to the top of the mountain. Is that kid are gonna be our engineer?
They start them young.
Look at the old steam engine. There it is, there it is! I like little rubber duckies.
It was funny.
We made it on the train. A little tight, Mom. Mom's got an aisle. She's just taking it all in right now.
I'm like,
Ready? Hard left turn.
Welcome to the Mount Washington Cog Railway. My name is Tommy. I'll be your brakeman this morning. It'll be my job to make sure we don't break the sound barrier on the way down later. Please make sure I'm awake for that part. In the engine today we have Steve as our engineer and Artie is our fireman. Artie's got a lot of work to do on the way up. He's got a lot of coal to shovel to get us up the mountain. My job on the way up, I'll be out here on the front platform keeping an eye on the tracks for us. On the way down, that'll be Artie's job. He gets to take a break from shoveling. He'll watch the tracks on the way down while I'm doing the braking later.
So he's opening the windows so we get the real experience.
yeah, this
The great outdoors.
yeah.
Something I want everyone to notice as we're going. You see how tall the trees are? Obviously not yet, but at one point we're going to pass. The trees get smaller, and we pass the tree line.
Oh no, I behind.
That's all the smoke from our coal engine in the back. You enjoying it, Joy?
I'm gonna search for animals.
But I am not an animal. That's like the train. It's hard to believe. There it is. That's the top of Mount Washington. We're going to take the screen all the way up there.
We came up.
You can judge by this building the angle we're going up. That's so weird. Isn't it, Josh?
That is super weird.
Enjoy. No more trees. They're gonna disappear. We're getting higher than the trees. We need some mystery stuff. You have a mystery train.
Oh no.
Another idea how steep it is right here?
So with the microphone, how crazy the angle and where down really is. Joy, stand up.
As we go over Jacob's Ladder, you get another good look at the lake and the cloud set to your right. Antagonistic ravine to your right. Birch ravine to your left.
This is so insane.
I'm here in the middle of Jacob's Ladder. The front of the coach where I'm standing is approximately 14 feet higher than the rear of the tender.
Yeah, I'll show you all. That's the tree level. How small the trees have gotten. Almost up.
Up ahead, just to the right of the tracks,
You see it?
you'll see Frog Rock. Newest and largest. A lot longer than the other switches.
At the back of the train, you could go. I could walk back there.
Only became operational about 2 years ago, but this gives us 2 lines up to the summit, so it makes it easier to get more trains in and out up here.
So we made it to the top. Well, not the tippy top. We're gonna go get there in a second.
Memories.
Joy hiked up here with me 4 years ago. It was a little scary. It was probably one of the easiest hikes we've done. We did it in July.
Scary because it started raining.
It started raining at the top, which rocks get slippery, and if you could see, there are a lot of rocks.
Oh my gosh.
Then we got to the top, and we waited 45 minutes to take our photo right there near that little thing that says top. Obviously, this is the weather station. This is the crazy fact I want to tell you about. Mount Washington has the highest wind ever observed by man was recorded here. The Great Storm, April 12th, 1934, 231 miles per hour wind. Summit Stage Office, 1878. Hiker Shuttle Souvenirs. When I said that, things are serious and can't really see down, but right there is something called the Bowl. And there's a hike called Tuckerman's Ravine. Well, me and Joy came out with something called Lion's Head, but you basically walk up Tuckerman's Ravine, but you could take Tuckerman's Ravine up to the Bowl, then up the west wall, or you could take the sun route up past Lion's Head. The second time I ever climbed Mount Washington, it was me and my friend Garrett. That would have been in 2001, and we came first weekend in May, and we weren't prepared. We got to the visitor center, and they said, "Hey, you guys prepared?" We're like, "Yeah, we've hiked this before." And they went, "You have your ice axe and crampons?" And we're like, "No." And we thought it was a con. They sold us for $80 each, ice axe and crampons. We get up to the Bowl. There was a park ranger there, and people ski down the Bowl. We're like, "Hey, how do we get to the top?" He goes, "What do you mean?" We're like, "We're gonna make it to the top of Mount Washington." He goes, "You know it's negative 16 degrees up there?" I had a winter jacket. I didn't have gloves. I didn't have hats. We didn't have ropes. We didn't have any of mountain climbing gear. And we're like, Garrett's like, "Yeah, we got this." He goes, "Okay, just go straight up that wall." And the Bowl is about 1,000 feet high. Put that in perspective. That's almost the height of the, little taller than the Empire State Building. And it's at an angle where you're hiking like this. And we started going up, and even though it was beginning of May, it was covered in sheets of ice and snow. And occasionally the ice axe wouldn't catch, and I'd fall 40 feet and tumbling down trying to save myself. And halfway up, I realized in my life there's been 4 times where I thought I was going to die. And this was one of those times. Kintirti. I remember talking to Garrett, telling him what to tell my mom, tell Joy, because I didn't think I was going to make it up that trail that day. We got up the Bowl. We found the trail markers, but Mount Washington was in a fog storm with crazy wind, and my hands were freezing. Garrett gave me his gloves, but they were soaking wet, so it didn't really do anything. We stopped, had some granola bars, and we were contemplating what our next move was, and we didn't realize we were probably about 100 yards from the top. We couldn't see, it was fog. So we figured we're not going to be stupid, even though we already were. And we're going to hike down. Didn't realize that whole thing was going to be a sheet of ice, and we scooched it on our butts for probably about half a mile. It was almost like sledding using our legs. And we got down. I remember we'd go and we'd get speed sledding down like that, and you'd aim for little trees because you didn't want to fly off the edge of a mountain. And after falling 40 feet every once in a while. My shoulder was all torn apart. I was pouring blood. My leg was torn apart. And we did make it down. I remember getting to that hotel and giving Joy a hug, and she couldn't contemplate how scared I was that day. But I'm glad me and Joy came back. We never climbed it in May again because I didn't want to do the snow, and by July the snow's all clear. But still, it's crazy, Mother Nature, how powerful it is. I'm glad I did it. I'm gonna do it again. Nothing to be afraid of. You have to live your life. But it was one of the 4 times in my life that I feel I should have died. I'm glad I didn't. Makes you appreciate the moments you have a little more. Let's go inside, check out the museum. One little sad thing in there, but we're gonna see some cool history about this spot. Sorry about that. As you can see, there's this sign right there that says Summit of Mount Washington. That is the highest point. I always feel this should be like a Disney Fast Pass for hikers. Tip Top House was one of the original hotel. What year is it formed, does it say? 1853. Very cool.
And this was a storage from the original one.
Cool. This is what's left from that original hotel. We're in the Tip Top House, built 1854.
Oh yeah, that's some nice accommodations.
They're sleeping.
Yeah, this would have been the old bunks. Cozy.
Good thing everybody was 5'2" back then.
This one came a little prepared. Blanket.
Yeah, blanket. But I have to say, it's more comfortable than a tent on those rocks outside. We have the big mess hall. It's crazy. Building buried under snow. In the year my mom was born, 1953. Look, Mom, look at the building you're in now and picture that. Your mom's just trying to breathe up at high elevation. It is cool that they restored it so we could see what this house looked like. I always wanted to come in. Last time me and Joe were here, we weren't allowed in. Someone was having a wedding in this spot, which would be a cool spot to have a wedding.
Cool spot.
Does every car that comes up with the wedding party get the I Climb Mount Washington?
No, that's like the little wedding favors like you go home with.
That would be funny. They made their own bumper stickers. My car climbed Mount Washington to attend so-and-so's wedding. Oh, the cast iron. Oh, okay. I like this little coal box here. These old stoves. Oh, this is beautiful. Thank you. Standing on top of what is the Sherman building here, looking out. If you look over there, those weird lines cutting the mountain, that's actually a ski slope. That's Wildcat Ski Mountain. We can look more down at some of the other mountain peaks over here. Yeah, that is an Appalachian Trail marker. Right there.
Oh, I guess east Appalachian.
Yep, it's showing you which way to head east and which way to head west on it. Let's check out inside the Sherman Adams Summit building. Oh, so ground level is hiker pack room. Main level, that's what it is, information desk, the observatory. There's a post office. I think I should mail a letter from the top of Mount Washington. This is crazy. This is the power line running power to the summit. Some thick power line right there. See, here's Mount Washington. Here's the railway. We started at the Marshfield Cog Railway base station. Up, that was the Jacob's Ladder. That was the cool steep part. Up. When I hike it, I start at Pinkham Notch, and I do Tuckerman Ravine, past that. With Joy, we went north to Lion's Head, and then back up Tuckerman Ravines. The other times I've done it was Tuckerman Ravines. This would be the center of the bowl, head wall, and then we straight up. Here's a sad thing. Casualties of Mount Washington, the Presidential Mountains. And if you look, first one, 1849. Some of them died of hypothermia, others died of like the improvised slide boards that we're looking at, those sleds.
Oh, and the older, yeah.
Some died of heart attacks trying to climb.
That's weird. That was a plane crash.
Plane crash on, that's crazy. Others have died, like, if you look, this year alone, February 10th, they fell sliding down the Huntington Ravine 300 feet. And then this one, yeah.
Triggered an avalanche.
Triggered an avalanche, died in an avalanche, and this person died because of the elements. And this is the trail that I had the issues with coming up the bowl and Tuckerman Ravines Trail. And I thought it was crazy, look at that. It was June in winter-like conditions. Let's check out Extreme Mount Washington. Extreme. Only problem with the ooh, that's cool. See what it looks like when it's covered in snow?
What? That's awesome.
You like the wind-blown ice? So my only complaint about taking that train is we do have a time limit. We only have 1 hour to do it. We get to start by looking at some wildlife. Common raven, a cute little bobcat. Turn around, lunch is behind you. Right there, little rabbit. It is crazy. Right now it's beautiful weather where we are, but what it can look like, the extremes of this station. Research and testing taken to the extreme. This is the coolest thing. Called rim ice at the summit. When temperatures fall below freezing, supercooled water droplets suspending clouds, enshrouding the summit, instantly freezing upon contact with any solid object. These delicate feather-like structures of rim ice grow into the wind. This is cool. Summit survivors, the few plants that live at the summit. And now they're dead in resin.
Oh, yeah.
Or preserved forever. Talking about the world record wind. Observer Mackenzie at the radio controls.
Observatory snowcat. This is how we get to work in wintertime. Now here's your chance to pilot our vehicle down the mountain.
Yeah. Turn. You gotta take turn a little slower, Joy.
Considering they slow it down for... Oh, did you slow it down?
I'm slowing it down.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Right.
Coming up on your left is a turnout where you can take a look at the scenery. And when you get there, we're going to slow down, pull off, and turn around so you can see the whole view.
It says Bobcat, yeah, mixed roofers.
Ooh.
What a great view today. You're looking out over the Great Gulf. It's to the left there, and Jefferson, Adams, and Madison. He's the Northern President.
To Future Joe
It's a good one.
had a great time on top of Mount Washington. Love,
Joe.
present Joe. Perfect.
To the future you.
So a girl was just to enjoy the observatory. Actually has cats, and one of the women working here snuggled with Marty cat yesterday.
Sneak in there. Sneak in there. There you go.
One-way ticket. Good thing we already got our tickets. Mailed our postcard. I think we did a good time on the top here. Going on the train, heading back down. Little time up the top. I like going. We got to go into the Tip Top House. That was new. That was pretty cool. Thank you. I love when you see that center track where the cogs actually click in. Let's go up this train.
Now that was actually done on what was known as a devil's shingle or a slide board. They printed a newspaper up here on the summit called Among the Clouds. To get that paper up to the valley, down to the valley nice and early, they drive down on a slide board with a stack of papers. That way they could distribute the papers out to the local hotels as early as possible. And he pushed us up the mountain. On the way down, he's going to be using air pressure in his cylinders. He's got an intake on the boiler. If you see that long metal rod there, that's connected to a valve. He'll use that valve to control how much air is being drawn into the cylinders to control how fast the pistons are going. So on the flatter parts, he's going to open the valve up, allow more air in. Good job, Kyle. He's going to close that valve almost all the way down so only a little bit of air can come in. That'll slow the pistons down and help control the speed of the engine. Now I'll be up here working the brakes on the coach to control the speed of the coach and to try not to push the engine too fast down the mountain.
Oh, see?
This particular engine's 114 years old. At that point, the coaches weren't even half their size. They only held 25 or 30 people. Well, we got over 60 people on here right now.
And away we go. Imagine you're a biker in the Appalachian Trail. You're like, oh man, I've been hiking for a few months. I wonder if I'm done. And then you come to like that, like stuff like that. Joy wasn't filming. I thought she was using the viewfinder on this video camera to clean the soot off her face from the coal burning to power this steam engine. See it right there? Joy wanted the window seat, she said. She forgets she's afraid of clips. What's up for the first step?
One of the brake pads came off the shoe. So they put new ones on.
The two diesels just passed each other. One's right behind us and one's going up.
Oh, just got off. Diesel's pulling in right behind us.
Okay, that's it. People off.
Yeah, he already got them off. You can see them coming down. From us, this one, next one, there's one more coming right behind it. We're the first one of the day, but they run them now that they have the switches. They run them constant. I figured we should end this video where it all began.
I agree.
Behind us is Pepper Sass. And what Pepper Sass is the first steam engine for the cog railway and also the first cog railway steam engine. Not this cog railway, but any cog railway ever. See, these are the cogs that gripped. It was from 1866 and actually used this one to help build the railway system that we rode today. I love that. Like, this is the entrance, this is the gate. Building up the road is where we parked and went in to catch the train. And they just have this piece of history just sitting out for you all to see on a trailer as you approach it. Pepper Sass, world's first cog railway engine used to build track in 1866. So we saw the cog railway.
We rode it.
We heard scary stories of Joe's youth, and he was a madman. And we saw the top of Mount Washington, which is one of my favorite spots. It's really cool to be standing at almost 7,000 feet above sea level on the eastern seaboard, looking out over all the mountains, seeing as far to Maine, Vermont. I think it's cool. From New Hampshire, seeing that all those states, and you can sometimes see on a really clear day all the way to Canada.
He said, that you can possibly on a really clear day.
But for now, Mount Washington and the Mount Washington Cog Railway. Been there, done that. Remember, folks, safe travels, good eats, and live life.